Thank you and welcome back to this final segment of the show for today. The guest is Dr. Charles Kimbrough, a longtime NAACP activist, and the topic is the Korean War and civil rights. And of course, Dr. Kimbrough, over these last few minutes that we have here, give us some idea in terms of what it was like to be a part of the military when you went in. Of course, you came out and was able to take advantage of the GI Bill. But what was it like when you first went into the military, and talk about separation and some of the things associated with that?
Well, I was in the Army for a period of 6 years. And when I went in, you know, we were completely separated. We were just part of the fabric of the United States, of course. That was in 1947 that I went in. And then, of course, President Truman, with his executive order, desegregated the armed services. And, of course, it was at a snail pace, pretty much like the school system was here in Nashville and surrounding area. You know, the order comes down in 54, but you wound up integrated in the first grade in 57. So the Army was no different in that sense. Usually, you separated in the barracks, separated in the wherever you were serving, you were segregated. One of the things that happened is you could have a black first sergeant. He's going to do the drilling and the direct orders, and then the white lieutenant. If you had a black lieutenant, it'd usually be a second lieutenant and a white first lieutenant. But so it's always that pecking order from the top down. Then, of course, my second tour saw some differences, many more differences, in that you started to have, you'd have blacks and whites eating in the mess hall together, and, but still going back to their, for the most part, their separate units.
Okay.
Of course, eventually, I saw greater aspects of desegregation in that I was at Fort Benning, Georgia at one point in time. That was still during the Korean War, but having gotten wounded and came back stateside, where as a black person, I was trained by a white sergeant for over the orthopedic ward, and then I got in a position to do that myself. But racism being what it was, the person, a captain, wanted me to train a white individual to take my job. So rather than do that, of course, I went back and spent, I didn't have to go back, having been wounded, to go back overseas, but I elected to go back. And because you didn't, I guess that's why I've tried to stand up a little straighter to people now, because in the military, you know, you can get court-martialed for doing some of the things that, by objecting to certain orders, however ridiculous they might be. But that was a part of the military. And of course, we did see, and it's commonplace now, but whites and blacks start playing basketball together, boxing matches, you know, all that kind of thing was integrated.
And so it was very, very